Ju lutem të bëni mute mikrofonat në momentin që flasim për speakerat flasin. Faleminderit. Atëherë, unë jam Lëvizja Europiane, drejtori ekzekutiv i Lëvizjes Europiane në Shqipëri. Sot, siç keni marrë dhe ftesat, do të trajtojmë një temë interesante të lidhur me pushtetin vendor. Shkurtimisht do doja t'ju thosha për ata të cilët janë të rinj për herë të parë marrin pjesë në këtë webinar. Kemi në pjesën e chatit do të shifni një sër rregullash për menaxhimin sa më të mirë të këtij webinari. Ku mundet që të lexoni dhe mënyrën se si mund të merrni pjesë, qoftë nëpërmjet chatit për të shkruar pyetje për ftuarin ton kryesor, apo dhe nëpërmjet marrjes fjalës ku mundet të drejtoni pyetje gjatë gjithë aktivitetit. Kemi përkthimin në shqip dhe në anglisht, ku do të gjeni në poshtë tek logoja interpretation, mund të gjeni të zgjidhni gjuhën, për shqipen është German, për shkak se nuk e ka shqip, prandaj duhet selektoni German, ndërkohë për anglishtën është English. Pjesa e përkthimit do të jetë gjatë fjalës së speakerit tan kryesor dhe gjatë pjesës së pyetje dhe përgjigje. Më pas, pjesa e dytë e webinarit do të jetë vetëm në shqip. Siç e thash, për temën e sotshme, ne kemi të ftuarin kryesor dhe në fakt gjatë gjithë javës, ku do të, siç keni bërë edhe në aplikimin, në regjistrimin tuaj, janë 3 temat që do trajtojmë të martë, të enjte dhe të premte. Besoj me shumë interes për ju dhe kjo dhe nga numri i madh i regjistrimeve që kemi marrë. Unë nuk do të zgjatem shumë për t'i dhënë fjalën ftuarit ton kryesor, i cili do të bëjë një prezantim gjatë pjesës parë të fjalës së tij dhe më pas do kemi mundësi për pyetje, përgjigje, komente, diskutime. Ju inkurajoj për të marrë pjesë sa më shumë në këtë pjesë interaktive të aktivitetit. Fillimisht do doja të falenderoja partnerët tanë të ELIAMEP, gjithashtu dhe për të përmendur mbështetjen e këtij projekti që vjen nga CFCU, pra nga Ministria e Financës dhe Ekonomisë, dhe gjithashtu dhe nga delegacioni i Bashkimit Europian në Shqipëri. Pa u zgjatur më shumë, jap fjalën zotit Babis, i cili do të shpjegojë në temën që sot është përzgjedhur, dhe do të mirëpresi gjithashtu dhe pyetjet tuaja. Fjala për ju. Mr. Babis, please.
Yes, I'm trying to do this sharing process in order to have the PowerPoint. One moment. Okay, I believe now it's okay for you also. So, hello, good evening. And I would like to thank the two partners, Emma and the ELIAMEP, for the invitation. We're going to explore today a topic that is really interesting in local level. So we're going to discuss about municipal youth work and how to develop youth policy in local level, in municipal level. First of all, I would like to share with you some basic information based on the European, let's say, guidelines. When we're talking about the young people, we're talking about the age group in between 13 and 30. We are not interested about the rest of the characteristics. If the young person is a student, is a pupil, is working, is unemployed, it doesn't matter his any other social conditions. So when we're talking about young people, we're talking about the age group of 13 to 30. So the characteristic of today's young generation in Europe is described, let's say, with this title: young, educated, and unemployed. Unfortunately, this is the reality in the most of the countries of Europe, and not only the countries of European Union. And the idea behind building youth policy from the European Union and the European institutions is to support, let's say, young people in order to equally participate and equally contribute to the dialogue and whatever is happening in European level. So when we're talking about the target group, our target group, we're talking about 19 million young Europeans, that almost half of them, they are living in, let's say, dangerous social conditions. As you can see from the slides, and the statistics are from the Eurostat, we have 8.5 million young unemployed people, 13.7 million young people who are not in employment, education, or training. It's this category called NEETs. And we have 27 million young people that they are in risk of poverty and exclusion. So imagine more or less that the half of the young population is one of these in one of these three social conditions, means needs social support. This is statistics about the youth unemployment in Europe. As you can see, unfortunately, it's a year ago. It's from April 2019 until the end of 2019. Greece was first in the list of about youth unemployment. Now Spain is the first, but it doesn't matter. The numbers are more or less the same, and they are tragic. As you can see, youth unemployment is a problem all over Europe, not only in the south, but in the most of the countries of the Union. At the same time, we're talking about a young generation of Europeans that 1/3 of them, they are with university degrees, and the other 2/3, almost all of them, they finish their secondary education. That means they are really educated generation. Almost talking about their social and civil participation. 1 in 4 of them participate in volunteer social activities, and 50% are active in organizations, youth clubs, youth associations. This is something very interesting. Of course, from country to country, there are differences. One other thing that is really important to share and with you is what the young people, the young Europeans are asking from Europe. So what are they asking from the stakeholders, from the governments, and from the European institutions? So here is an interesting statistic again from last year research from Eurostat says that the young Europeans are asking quality education, safe Europe, and youth employment. So this is the packet of the first three reaction. In the fourth, you can see combating the climate change issues, the refugee and the migration issues, digital topics, the race of nationalism, and the very last, but it's interesting that 40% are questioning about the countries that they left or leaving European Union, and we are talking about the last year's topic of Brexit. So as you can see, in the first three topics is quality education, safe or safer Europe, and the youth employment. So these are three really interesting things, and giving, let's say, the guideline about what the young people are asking and how the young people are interesting. So the next thing is also, the next question is really interesting in order to understand the topics that the young people all over Europe are interesting. What young people think about the positive things of European Union. So, of course, as you can see, and the right to study abroad, it's topic number one. Peace, it's the second thing, and we are really happy because after the Second World War, in general, we don't have conflicts, we don't have war, and we have peace in Europe, and of course, with some exceptions, the Yugoslavia crisis, but in general, the last 15 years, the last 70 years, the years after the Second World War, and connected also with the years of building European Union, is a period, a peaceful period for everyone. Also, the third is interesting, the right to work abroad. So the number one and number three is an interesting topic. But also, as you can see, also the other things that European youngsters are putting as a priority or as a privilege, as their rights, let's say, of being members of Europe and especially European Union. They use support for poor regions in Europe, the freedom of travel without visa, and the access to products from other EU countries, the euro as a common currency, and the build of common European identity. These are more or less some of the topics that young Europeans believe that European Union and contribute in a positive way. There is one serious problem on all these stories. I don't know, there is a line on my screen. I don't know why this appeared, but the real problem about the young people in Europe is their move, the transformation, their move from the education to work. From education to work, we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of gaps, and we have a lot of policies in the last 20, 30 years that never managed to solve the problem. An interesting thing is also to check a little bit what is happening about the young people in our region, in Southeast Europe, and especially in the countries of the Western Balkans. So based on a research made last year from the Regional Cooperation Council, we are checking, and we are really happy to see that 61% of the young people believe that the EU membership of the countries of the Western Balkans is something positive, compares to 56% that it is 56% that is for the general population. Again, something really interesting is that 41% of the people from the Western Balkan citizens feel welcome in any city of the region, and also that almost half of the young people prefer in the countries of Western Balkans prefer to work in public sector. This is again a mentality, a really hard mentality in the region. And talking about the main problem is apathy. And what is also more apathy about active participation and engagement. And the most, let's say, interesting result from this survey is that they reply, I don't care. So this is also 42% of the youngsters, they say, I don't care to, there is no need, or I don't care to about participation or involvement or engagement. So the idea behind, and now I'm moving to the second part of my presentation, is to check and to explore a proposal for how to build a youth-friendly city. A city, a municipality that welcomes young people, welcomes youth initiatives, and welcomes the proposals coming from the youth sector, the youth civil society, and the young people in general. There are 4 steps to do that, and a lot of youth work in local level. I can say from the very beginning that the proposal that I'm going to present you is a proposal that already implement in a number of municipalities, in 10 municipalities around Europe, with very positive results. The proposal under the title Youth-Friendly City had prize, let's say, of good practices on youth policy from the European Commission, and the Council of Europe is interesting to include this methodology in the good proposals for in the proposals for any municipality that's interesting to build youth policy in local level. So it's a proposal for activate young people. It's a proposal that connects young people with the municipality, talks about democracy in local level, but also, and this is the most important, is that includes young people with the process of co-management. So in our days, it's really important to underline that we are interested for bottom-up activities. We are interested for activities that will bring young people close to the municipality, close to the authorities, and together to plan and implement a local youth strategy, a local youth plan for the creation of the conditions for young people for living, for better living conditions and better working conditions for them. So we divide these 4 stages by 25%, and the first stage is youth sector financial support. Is the first part that the municipalities can organize. So if we're talking about youth support, if we're talking about youth policy in local level, if we're talking about youth structures in the local level, it's not possible to do this without any funding. And of course, we have, and we are happy because we have a lot of international organizations, donors, embassies, and foundations that they are interested to support actions, civil society, municipal, or even university students' activities. But the important thing is the fact that the municipality must have a budget line about youth policy. So there are some specific questions about how to organize this first stage, this first part of building a youth-friendly city. The first question is if exists a financial support program to the youth sector in local level. So the real question is if the municipality is supporting financially the youth sector. Of course, there's a question if this program is transparent, if it is inclusive and fair, if it is promoting social innovation, if it is connected with the European Youth Strategy, and if it promotes the development of the city and the community. This packet of questions are mainly internally. So the first stage of this process is to discuss with the municipality, to organize a debate, the young people and the municipality, and slowly to clarify and to reply to all these 6 questions about youth financial support in a local level. It is really important to say that yes, we need youth budget in the municipality. It is also important to say that yes, the youth budget must be open, transparent, and according to the needs, to the dialogue, and also the proposals of the young people. So, of course, whatever we are doing, it can be the result of a debate with the young people, but we need to remember all the time that whatever we are doing, whatever we are planning, must be part of the big European agenda. That's why it's important, whatever we are doing and whatever we are planning, to be in parallel and to be next to the European Youth Strategy, which is our basic, let's say, tool for exploring youth policy in European level. The second stage of this process is the youth infrastructures and technical support. So at the end of the second stage, and if the municipality is completed this stage, we're going to be in the 50% of the youth city process. The youth infrastructures are really important. Imagine that in the period of the financial crisis, in the most of the countries of Europe, one of the first victims of the crisis was youth policy. And in the most of the cases, the governments, the municipalities, they close the youth infrastructures, they close the youth centers, they close the youth information centers, having in their mind that they are saving money with that. It was one of the worst decisions taken all over Europe. In the most of the countries, we need to rediscover and to reopen the youth infrastructures from zero, just in the period after the end of the financial crisis. Here, in the youth infrastructures, questions are, do you have physical infrastructures for young people? Are there any youth centers, municipal youth centers, youth places? Do you have a service for information, counseling, and empowerment? A youth information center, a youth support center, or physical or virtual? Because in the last 5 years, the new trend is to transform this, especially the information services, into digital information services. Does your municipality have a youth department with employees, with people that they are planning and they are discussing with the youngsters, and they are implementing youth policy in a technical administration level? What is the mission and of this department and how they are working? And does your city have web infrastructures for dissemination of youth information and youth work? So this last question is really interesting, because in our days, the most of the young people are online. They are connected with social media, with web applications, via their mobile phones, tablets, and any kind of electronic equipment. So it's really important for the municipalities to create or to support the information system, electronic information system, and infrastructure for dissemination of youth information. It's really important for the young people to have access to youth information, and I can say in their language, because it's easy to find a lot of websites and networks and whatever, that they are providing information in English, basically in English, and informing youngsters about possibilities for activities, seminars, trainings, mobility programs, whatever. But in the most of the cases, we are excluding the people that they don't know English. And this is a problem all over Europe, because slowly we are creating a very interesting new youth elite that they have access to information, they know how to apply, they know how to participate, but they are mainly students, English speakers, and they are coming from middle class families. The important thing is all this information to go down and to go to people that they really need to understand Europe. They really need to check about networking, about possibilities for cooperation, for work, for training, for improving their skills all over Europe. In the third stage of this process, we have municipality youth councils and co-management system. This is a little bit more difficult. Now we are entering in a more difficult, let's say, areas. And at the end of this stage, we are 75% youth-friendly city. Here we have three main questions. Does your city promote youth participation? Does your city have a youth co-management system? And is there a program to ensure education for citizenship? So these three questions are replying at the same time to what the municipality can do on this ongoing dialogue. So we need access to information, we need access to places, but again, it's really important on this stage to create structures for participation with the co-management system. That means that the young people, we have ideally the priority, the youth civil society will participate, and the results of this dialogue will accept by the municipality. Also, the training part, the training and the part on citizenship, it's really important because all these things are connected with the creation of the new ID that we need, the new characteristics that we need for the young people in local level. The fourth stage is the strategic youth development plan. And at the end of this stage, we will manage to have a 100% youth-friendly city. Here, the questions are if our city have a youth plan, if it is an integrated one, does it works transversal? What are the main priorities? Is it a long-term? And what is the role of youth in it? This packet of the last 6 questions, which are developing in parallel in between the municipality, the administration, and the young people and the youth society in local level, are really crucial because we need to have a youth plan in local level. We need to have a long-term youth plan, that means minimum 5 years. And we need to include as much as possible youngsters, youth groups, youth initiatives, youth NGOs, youth student unions, and whatever exists in a local level. So this co-management system will allow us at the very end of this process to have a clear policy in local level. Then probably all this information that will come to this co-management system in between the municipality and the young people needs to analyze, need to create a strategy in local level, need to create a list of indicators for how we're going to check the next phases and the next steps for building youth policy in local level. If I need to answer in a simple question, okay, how we can start all this process, then the answer is find an open-minded mayor, talk with him, convince him that it's good for everyone to invest on youth, and present this kind of agenda with the steps, the involvement of the young people, the involvement of the youth civil society. In the second part, create focus groups, create a dialogue mechanism, create a training mechanism that will allow you to understand how the municipality works, but also for the municipality to allow what the young people work. And of course, involve the local organized youth because they have experience, the youth NGOs, the youth initiatives, student unions, whatever exists in a local level, and ask them to support as a youth workers, as a youth facilitators, as a youth experts, whatever you are planning to do in local level. Probably the question will be, okay, who is going to support us in this process, and who is going to put some money, for instance, in case that our municipality will say that, yes, it's a very good idea, but sorry, I don't have money for such a story. Then the proposal is to use and to participate in whatever supports youth policy in European level. That means the programs of the European Union, Erasmus Plus and European Solidarity Corps, the Europe Goes Local, which is the special initiative of the European Commission about youth work in a municipal level, the European Youth Foundation of the Council of Europe, RICO, the Regional Youth Cooperation Office, or some institutions that they are working in the region, the Regional Cooperation Council and the Western Balkans Fund. Of course, the list is big, and on Friday, when we're going to talk about fundraising, we're going to explore more some of these possibilities for financial support from the side of the youth and the youth civil society sector. I can say, going to the end of this part, that the whole process is a 2 years process. So it's not something that it will start now and in 2 months we're going to have results. So having as a bullet points, whatever it's in front of you, select and promote to a mayor the whole idea for local youth work, create a network of possible supporters and stakeholders, make all necessary preparations and take all the decisions at the level of the city council and the administration, do a pilot phase, starting of the implementation of the agenda, 1 stage per semester, closing of the agenda and evaluation. We need 2 years to do such a thing. And I'm saying to you again that there are more than 10 cities that they are happy for the implementation of a project and a process like that. And I'm really happy to say that my city, the city of Thessaloniki, the city where I live and I'm working, is one of the good examples, a city that implements this. And the municipality has a short-term and a long-term youth strategy. The short term is for 4 years. The long term is now until 2030. So it is a real interesting stories. What are the results? Why we're doing this and why we are interested to promote this as a good example. So the first thing is that because through this initiative, it's easy to activate and to young people and to give them all the necessary tools for their participation in local level, to understand about structures, the municipality, democracy, decision-making. It's an ongoing dialogue and debate with the young people, support of the local youth civil society, implementation of the European Youth Strategy in local level, the local youth agenda and the priorities, and of course the participation in the European Union structural dialogue on youth, because we're going to have the right to put a pin on the European map with the name of our city and with the name of our initiatives as a good example. I can say that this kind of methodology connects cities and countries with the European policies, creates good practices, involve young people in the decision-making processes, supports youth mobility, which is a very, very interesting thing, very problematic now in the period of COVID, but we hope that we're going to return back to the normality very, very soon, support regional cooperation, and creates alternative, creative, and non-formal ways to understand the framework of the coming period, because the young people are the power to bring new things, new ideas, new threads in local level. This is more or less from my side. For now, we'll be really happy to answer to any question from your side.
Thank you. We already have some questions in the chat.
Yeah, I need linguistic support for the first one because it's in Albanian, huh?
No, so it's just asking for the translation.
Okay.
But we have it.
Yeah. So yeah, the question about the co-management. Co-management means that representatives of young youth are paying to co-manage the youth local policy. When you speak about youth, do you mean youth organizations or persons? Do you have for that? Okay, yeah. The co-management system is the way that we are understanding that the municipality and the administration and the running of the municipality is not just the work of the elected people there. We as citizens, and especially you as a young citizens, we have the right to participate, and the method that we are presenting is the co-management system. That means that together we are taking the decisions, and in the most of the cases, whenever we are talking about committees linked with youth issues, the majority of the members of these committees must be youngsters, young people, and not people from the administration. I can share with you an example that we are implementing the last 3 years here in Thessaloniki in order to have something practical on this co-management system. It's the very interesting process of the participatory budgeting. So the municipality of Thessaloniki is giving around 100,000 euros per year for support of youth initiatives, youth projects, and youth, I don't know, ideas. Coming from the civil society, but also from individuals. So even non-formal groups can apply to take money from the municipality, of course, with a special selection process, because according to the law, only legal entities can support financially. So based on the law, there was a committee in between city councillors and people from the administration that they receive the applications, they are making the evaluation, and they are presenting the results. 3 years ago, the municipality accept an idea coming from the civil society, and they start to work based on the participatory budgeting system method. What is the difference? The difference is that now the municipality creates a platform, an internet platform. Whoever is interested for financial support from the municipality on youth issues, he needs to need to upload the idea over there, the idea plus some information about him. Who is he? What is his role and why he's interested for the implementation. Then after the deadline, the platform is open for voting. The citizens are voting for this, and the proposals that will take the most of the votes are the ones that the municipality is going to support financially. This is a radical change in the local level because it changed the way of distribution of public money. And give me one moment to drink a little bit of water. Okay, and everyone is happy. The municipality is happy because there is no need to receive critics that they give the money to the friendly NGOs, and the NGOs are happy because they are testing their networks and their people, and they say, okay, it's open, it's transparent. Whoever is taking the most of the votes is taking the money. So a second thing is how do you explain the tradition of European? Yeah, okay, on the question of Arlid about the problem of the young Europeans, that they are very educated, but without access to work, to the labor market. I have the feeling that we have all over Europe a problem in our university system, that it is not connected with the labor market. In the most of the cases, in the most of the countries, the families and the society are pushing the youngsters to study in what we call high level, let's say, university schools, like doctors, like, I don't know, engineers, like lawyers, like, or a lot of people are moving to the social science and the humanitarian sciences and things like that. But unfortunately, there is no connection with the labor market. So I will tell you the story here in Thessaloniki. We have, I don't know, the faculty of mathematics that every year there are 300 or 400 mathematicians that they are taking the diploma from the university, the Aristotle University. Okay, what to do with these people? So imagine in total we have a very big gap. I can share with you, or I can link you with the research by CEDEFOP. CEDEFOP is the institute, the agency of the European Union about vocational training. And they are studying the working conditions all over Europe, and they are creating a list. They call it the gap list. Is the list of the jobs that they are missing from the market of every country. It's impressive that for a lot of years we are checking that we have a gap in jobs linked with electronics here in Greece, and especially networks, security of networks, building networks, electronic networks, some very specific jobs about finance, and of course a lot of practical jobs, from carpenters until I don't know, plumbers, and from furniture makers until whatever you can imagine, practical builders, whatever. So the same thing exists all over Europe. So we took a very theoretical direction, our university, our education system, that is not linked and connected with the practicalities and the needs, the real needs of the market. Imagine that Germany is importing computer science from India, thousands of computer science every year, thousands of computer science from India. Other countries, they order. I can give you a real example. The Netherlands order 75,000 nurses from India, from a university that they need to train, to take the diploma, and to go and to work in the Netherlands. So these are problems that we are facing every day. Going to the second part of the question of Arlida, I can read it. Do you think the so-called fourth digital artificial revolution is going to be a threat or a good opportunity for young job market in Europe? Of course it will be, yes. Of course, this fourth industrial revolution and the new, let's say, conditions, the digital conditions that they are coming, and having in mind that all these conditions are coming more close because of the COVID, creating a totally new environment. There is a need to do a lot of things in Europe. So we are not satisfied with what happens on that. Yes, we have a new generation that is feeling very comfortable with the new technology. It's very easy to use computers, applications, mobile phones, or whatever. There are a lot of investments in Europe about not to lose, let's say, the train and not to lose the opportunity of the new digital revolution. But we have a problem on the development of software, for instance, in Europe. The most of the software that develop and the most of the software that we are using is not European. Even if we are using European hardware, even if we are satisfied with the level of reacting of the European industry, at the level of the software, we are following the Chinese, the Russians, the Americans, the Indians, but also the Israelis and other countries that they enter very hard and very dynamic to this game. So I don't know if how easy is to follow these new things that they are coming in Europe. Of course, the young generation will be there. There is a need also to inform, to train, and to support the youngsters around Europe how to use the new technology. The new technology is not innocent. Having in mind, for instance, that the Ministry of Education of Finland, they start 3 or 4 years ago a lesson of how to use new technology in the schools, and lessons for how to read the news and how to recognize fake news in whatever you are dealing in social media. It's part of the curriculum of the schools. So the Finnish Ministry of Education is preparing their kids for the new technological things that they are coming. The Finnish Ministry of Education is preparing new application, transforming all the program into a digital program. And I don't know if it is good or bad, because you know, in some of the countries of Europe, especially the countries that they are defending the education as one of the main pillars of the citizenship, and also continuing to use methods based on the previous century. All these electronic and very modern and very quick things are not very, let's say, familiar and very happy with them. But yes, the threat is this, and I can say that we need to invest on that in order to have a new generation in Europe that is going to follow equally whatever is happening in and whatever is coming in the next period. So there is an interesting question from Bledder, if I say the name correct. He's dealing with an NGO, and I want to support and involve youth in agriculture and the related fields. How I can find partners, collaborators, and donors? Okay, good, interesting question. Of course, we're going to talk about this on Friday more, but also an easy question to this is that there are already networks. And if you have an NGO and if you are part of an NGO, you need to register your NGO in some of these European Union networks, like the network of the organizations of the Erasmus+, the network of the organizations of the European Solidarity Corps. You need to follow some specific network like the Eurodesk network of the European Union and to participate in the training activities of the Salto Youth, which is the training mechanism of the European Commission. Following all these things, you are going to find a lot of organizations that they are doing almost the same things as you. And also, and this is important, you will find also organizations that they have, they have good answers. They create good practices, and they can share with you something that will help you in local level. Have in your mind, I put just the title that European Union have a new initiative 2 years ago, started 2 years ago, under the name Europe Goes Local. Europe Goes Local is a new initiative, and now we have an extension of this new initiative until the year 2027. And this initiative is focusing on youth policy and municipalities. It's really important because there is also funding behind. So if you are entering to the website europegoeslocal.eu or if I remember, or if you Google Europe Goes Local, you will find the initiative and you will find the way to participate. So there are training activities, meetings, supporting financially through the Erasmus+ activities in local level. So it's a good tool and a good, let's say, way to support young people, and especially the topic of agriculture, especially the topic of farming, young agriculture, young farming. It's one of the hot topics for the next period. Imagine that in European Union, we are working with the working cycles, we say. Now it's the beginning of the 8th working cycle on youth policy. Starts 1st of July with the starting of the German presidency in the European Union. So the last cycle, the 7th cycle that closed in Croatia, one of the 3 priorities was young people from agricultural areas. So there is a big debate about how to support young people in the agricultural areas. We have a problem. We have a serious problem about farming in Europe. You know that we are importing more than half of the food that we are eating and we are using, especially in the food industry. And we need good examples, and there are ways of cooperation in between young farmers all over Europe, and there are specific also networks and organizations about young farmers. What else? I don't know, is there something that I didn't manage to reply, or someone who wants to raise any other thing, link with whatever we say?
Please select the channel English, Mr. Babis, so you can hear the translation of the questions in Albanian into English.
Okay, one moment. How to do that?
At the interpretation button in the lower
yes, good, good. I check and I'm going to English. Super.
English, yes.
Super, yeah. Yes, yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. First of all, I can say yeah, that Albania is a candidate country for European Union, equally participate in the most of the EU programs. Albania is 4 years participating in the today's Erasmus Plus, which is, let's say, the basic EU program for supporting youth policy, building youth policy. Participate in the European Solidarity Corps, which is focused on volunteerism, but also for mobility and training. I can say that there are also other programs that EU programs that connected also to the Western Balkans. That means Western Balkan countries are eligible and priorities. Link with the topics of more specific topics, let's say, like the program linked with culture, the Europe for Citizens, which is a program for cultural issues, the indirect program of bilateral cooperation. And you can explore the indirect. In indirect, of course, small NGOs cannot apply themselves. They need a stronger and a bigger partner, but the cooperation, a coalition between a municipality and a youth NGO can be a good practice. We have good practices on the indirect program in between Albania and Greece. We have the Albania and Italy. We have the Adria program that includes all the countries of the Adriatic Sea that Albania can apply. So there are programs. As I said before, one of the important topics is how to learn and how to train people, staff, activists, and people coming from the civil society in order to participate and in order to understand the bigger framework. Imagine, for instance, that the indirect, and I can say the indirect in between our two countries, Greece and Albania, it's a very easy program. So there is no heavy bureaucracy, but of course there is a need of partners. There is a need of clear idea about the priorities that the program is putting, and in the most of the cases it's culture, it's education, it's transport, it's health issues, it's agriculture. So we need to establish links in between the municipalities, the civil society, the stakeholders, and to ask them to put also our topics as a priority for the coming calls. An interesting note, and having this in your mind, is that now we are in year 0 for the funding from European Union. Why? Because we are at the closing of the programming period. The programming period is closing. That means indirect Europe for Citizens and all these programs will not make any other call. But we are in front of the announcement of the new programs for the period 2021-2027 That means that the programs will start to make calls at the beginning of 2021, but in the mid-period, 2020-2021, the national authorities of the programs, the national authority of the indirect program in Albania, the national authority of the Europe for Citizens, which is your Ministry of Culture, or the national agency of the Erasmus Plus in Tirana. They are going to make seminars for contact making seminars and info seminars for the new program and based on the new priorities for the new programming period. Yes? Yeah. The municipalities can take the initiative. So the idea behind the connection of the municipalities with the school community is to connect with the school councils that we have almost in every school. So to invite them to participate in a debate and to invite them to talk not only about problems, but about a vision, how they are dreaming their city, how they are dreaming their neighborhood, what are the things that they are asking from the municipality, what are the things that they are asking from the stakeholders. And I can say that in the most of the cases, the reaction of the young people are impressive. So we did the same thing here in Thessaloniki, asking the young people, doing focus groups in schools and the communities, youth communities, young people and students, and we asked them, what are the problems that you have and what do you need from the mayor? The question was, what do you need from the mayor? Tell us what you need from the mayor. So the reaction was really interesting. I mean, the replies was really beautiful. Imagine that one of the first replies was that we need open spaces for young people. We need youth hostels, open places we need Wi-Fi, open Wi-Fi in the squares and in the main buildings and everywhere in the city. We need more security to feel more secure in the walking in the city, especially in the night hours. So this is, let's say, more or less a guideline after the debate with the youngsters, after the debate with the school community, that the mayor will take, and in cooperation with the youth council, in cooperation with his youth advisory board or whatever you can call it, they are going to prioritize and to see where they are going to find and how they are going to find the solution. In the most of the cases, there is no money behind. There is no need for money. There is a need for political willingness to say, okay, I'm going to solve this problem and to put it as a priority. And in case of a need of the money, we have the programs coming from European Union, from the Council of Europe, from the donors, from the foundations. Of course, needs a strategy for that, but I can say that it's not impossible to manage all these things. Yes, please. Yeah. I must say that in all programs of European Union and the Council of Europe, the youngsters and the social groups that we call with special needs or special abilities, special conditions, social, economic, mobility or geographical, they are the priority. They are the top priority. So whenever we're going to include and to invite youngsters from special social groups to participate, or we are building a project for them, our application is in a priority. So again, the tools are the same. So we need the networking, we need to connect, because in the most of the cases, there is a need of a partner from another European country. So we need to have a contact in another country. We need to lobby about the idea, to create the framework, to create a budget, to put everything on the paper and on the application form, and of course to be very, very serious on the implementation and the evaluation. So I have the feeling in our period that the most difficult thing is not to find the partner. There are groups, networks, and a method for how to find the partner. The most important thing is to have a clear vision about the implementation. So if we say that we're going to implement a project about, I don't know, disabled youngsters, or we're going to implement a project about young refugees, or people with I don't know, women coming from a very far away geographical, young women coming from a far away geographical area that they don't have access to, I don't know, some easy mobility or whatever. So the idea behind is to be ready to implement this project as we describe it. And at the same time, to convince the local society that this is not one-man show. It's not three friends or an NGO or an initiative that they have a crazy idea, and they found another crazy guy who said, okay, yes, I'm going to give you, I don't know, 5,000–10,000 euros, and we're going to save the planet and humanity. It's a teamwork. So even if it is our small local project, we need to involve the local stakeholders, we need to involve partners, we need to involve the municipality, we need to involve the society, the media. So why I say this? Because when we're talking about youngsters that they are coming from special youth groups, then there is more need for visibility, there is more need for publicity, there is more need for support, and that is why also all the European institutions are putting them as a real priority.
We have some questions in English again in the chat section.
Yes. Okay, on the question of Romine about the theoretical curricula of the university, the answer is no. Not the practical thing. The universities in Europe are passing a very big crisis. Unfortunately, they cannot follow. They cannot follow the new trends about university studies that they are coming from China, the United States, and these global online universities. I have the feeling that there is a need of very hard reforms of the university system in Europe in order stop being theoretical and academic, and to connect it not only with the market, but also to connect it with the society. The most important is that the universities are losing year after year a lot of their credibility, because now in our days it's very, very easy to follow electronic courses and to take even university degrees from your house, following amazing teachers, professors that they are teaching through web-based platforms, and to have real degrees, recognizable and trustable degrees from universities. And also I can say that of course there is a dialogue in the European Union, and of course these topics are discussed at the level of the European Union, but again it's very, very difficult to take decisions on such topics. Yeah. Okay, there is also another question. Yeah, again, the question of Alba is connected with the problems that we have in the, as I understand it, about the university area. I can say again that yes, European Union is searching for and open a very big dialogue, but it's very, very difficult. It's very, very difficult. There are countries that they believe that there is no need for reforming anything on the education system, especially on the university part. There are other countries that they believe that we need to run in order to catch the new trends. Unfortunately, after Brexit and after the missing of this connection with the British universities, which is, let's say, practically the heavy industry of UK, the study in UK. The remaining universities are, my opinion is that they are more conservative on the way that they are exploring the future of university studies and the future of the universities. And I don't know, maybe also there is a need for the students and for the youngsters to present new models and to present new ideas inside the academic community, inside the universities, inside the places where you are studying and where you are living during your studies. My idea at the same time is that we need to connect universities with the present youth planet and youth ecosystem. One good example that we have all over Europe is the Erasmus Student Network, which is the network of the Erasmus students in the universities. That group of people brings energy, a new dynamic and energy in their societies, because they are moving from university to university in order to study. But when they return back to their university, they are bringing new ideas, or they are presenting how it was, I don't know, in the other country, in the same faculty, in the same school, in the same lessons and things like that. So it is a power of reforming. But the problem with the Erasmus program is that the most of the people that they participate, they are living, so they are students and they are living in 1 or 2 years. So even if they are continuously repeating that there is a need of reforming, and there are limited people that they are hearing them. But it's a starting point. It's a good starting point. Also, the rest of the university organizations, student organizations like ELSA, AESE, IESEC, and all these organizations that they are active in the university level, they are bringing new things and they are proposing new things. But I have the feeling that the university community is really very slowly and they are not ready, let's say, for radical changes in the university level. If you believe that there is something else that we have some...
Yes,
more.
we have the last two questions to be translated, and we'll finish with this one.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because I didn't hear you well, can you repeat the question, please? Okay. Yeah, okay, correct. I have the feeling that they are not. They are not, especially for the countries that they are candidate countries for European Union. My understanding is that there is no specific policy and there is no specific support system for them. I'm trying to imagine if there is any example. In the past, there was some special projects and funding opportunities only for Western Balkans countries and youngsters. It was the priority under the name Balkan Window, and only organizations, youth initiatives, and non-organized groups from the Western Balkans have the right to apply. I'm not sure if this priority will survive in the new programming period. For the moment, we don't have any information on that. We are waiting from European Commission to make an announcement about this special, let's say, funding and support mechanism only for organizations and youngsters coming from the Western Balkans. That Western Balkans priority gives the opportunity to young people from the Western Balkans country to have a special funding and to use this special funding for activities in EU countries. But as I said before, I'm not sure if this priority is going to survive in the new programming period, because everything is in a dialogue, and of course it's up also to the governments to negotiate with the European Commission and with the rest of the EU countries. Yeah, in EU level, yes, we have a common system for recognition, and all the universities are in a database, all the faculties, and in the past it was very bureaucratic and very difficult. Now it's very easy. So if you have a diploma from the university, from the faculty A of the university B, from I don't know, from Sweden, in zero time there is a recognition, and you know if it is equal and what to do if you want to recognize this in Greece, in Italy, or in Spain. I have the feeling that there is a similar initiative open for the countries of the candidate countries, so the Western Balkan countries. I'm not sure if everyone is online, if all the universities, all the faculties are online of Europe. I know that in some cases from some East European countries, which are not EU countries, we have a problem for the recognition of the diplomas inside the EU. Probably the creation of a common system, and this is, let's say, more or less this what we call the Bologna process that tries to harmonize the education system is a starting point. But unfortunately, the topic of education is one of the exceptions from the common European Union policy. So until now, education is on the hands of the national governments. So there are only guidelines from the European Commission. In order to understand this, for instance, agriculture is at the level of Europe. So in the agricultural sector, we have the common agricultural framework, and whatever is linked with agriculture is the result of a negotiation and agreement in European level. So imagine that if the Greek government says, I'm going to ask from the Greek farmers to put 1 million lemon trees next year, they cannot do that. If they say, I want to ask the Greek farmers to put, I don't know, 1 million trees, apple trees, they cannot do that, because there is a part of a negotiation for how many trees, how many apples, how many, everything linked with agriculture is in a common European basis, and the decisions are taken in Brussels. In the education part, it's not like that. It's still at the level of the national governments. So there is only there are only guidelines from the European Union who says it will be good if all the countries will follow that. But they cannot say to the countries members what to do on the education system. That's why we have a lot of course, there is a lot of development the last 10, 15 years, even on secondary topics on the education things, but the very heavy things are still at the heads of the national government. So European Union cannot harmonize everything on the education sector.
Well, thank you, Mr. Babis Papaioannou. It was a pleasure having you today, and of course, we will have you also during the week.
Mm-hmm.
Now we will continue with the other presentations. So this part will be only in Albanian. So thank you, and we'll see you again in 2 days. Thanks a lot for
thank you very much. Thank you very much for the questions and for the time. And really, thanks a lot again for the invitation. Thanks. Have also an interesting meetings and discussion in the next phase. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Atëherë do të vazhdojmë me pjesën tjetër sipas agjendës. Sigurisht do përpiqemi të jemi konciz në prezantimet në pjesën e diskutimeve. Për të mbajtur brenda minutave të parashikuar aq sa mundemi, gjithsesi për shkak se u zgjatëm me pjesën e parë të prezantimit, po ishte shumë interesante dhe kjo pa dhe nga angazhimi juaj dhe pyetjet që vazhdonin, ndoshta mund na ketë shpëtuar ndonjë nga pyetjet, por dhe për shkak të kohës. Gjithsesi do të kemi mundësi në 2 webinaret e ardhshme, sidomos atë që I takon fondeve europiane, ku pa që kishte edhe një interes më të madh nga gjithë pjesëmarrësit. Kam kënaqësinë të jap fjalën kolegës time Nirvana Deliu, e cila do të prezantoj pjesë nga studimi mbi rastin shembullin e Greqisë, aspektet ekonomike të krizës ekonomike, çfarë mund të mësojmë nga ky rast, nga ky shembull. Do të prezantojmë disa nga gjetjet, sigurisht që do të kemi në vazhdimsi në çdo webinar prezantime nga këto gjetje dhe në fund, siç kemi premtuar, do të kemi dhe paperat dhe studimet e dërguara tek secili prej jush. Atëherë, Nirvana.
Shumë faleminderit Gledis, përshëndetje të gjithëve. Si fillim po bëj share screen. Si shta dhe Gledisi, prezantimi është realizuar nga partnerët tanë, organizata greke ELIAMEP, që është partnere e projektit që EMA dhe ELIAMEP zhvillojnë, përfshihen pra si seria e webinarëve që po zhvillohen, ashtu edhe realizimi I 3 publikimeve, njëra me fokus krizën greke, financiare greke, tjetra është analiza që I ka bërë Dr. Dimitar Beçev, që ishte dhe folës I pari webinareve tona në fokus pikërisht procesin e integrimit të urbanizmit të Bullgarisë, çfarë mund të mësojmë neve nga ky proces, I cili do të jetë një publikim të cilin do ta prezantojmë në seritë e ardhshme të webinareve, ndërkohë edhe publikimi që ka realizuar EMA gjithashtu me fokus që është dhe procesi I Integrimit Europian, roli I aktorëve të ndryshëm social dhe gjithashtu dhe gjetjet e ndryshme të pyetësore që EMA ka realizuar në këtë drejtim. Besoj I shikoni të gjithë prezantimin për borxhin grek. Do I bie shumë shkurtimisht, siç e thash, pra është realizuar nga Nikolaos Bakirtis, I cili është edhe hurumtues në organizatën ELIAMEP. Kjo është përmbajtja e ti punimi. Sot do shikojmë vetëm pjesën e parë, pra faktorët dhe aktorët që kanë pasur një rol kryesor në krizën greke, ndërkohë që më pas në ditën e vazhdim do të shikojmë periudhat e krizës greke, pra se si kanë avancuar ato nga 2009 në 2018. Autori I ka ndarë ato në varësi se cilët kanë qenë ato parti politike që kanë qenë në krye të qeverisë dhe masa që kanë marrë për ta menaxhuar këtë krizë. Gjithashtu një element që besoj është I rëndësishëm dhe me vlerë është pikërisht çfarë mësimesh mund të nxjerrin nga rekomandimet që autori ka nxjerrë në kuadër të këtij publikimi. Si kemi mund bëjmë një histori të shkurtër të Greqisë, disa prej jush mund të jenë familjar, por Greqia besoj keni një lloj njohurie që për një periudhë 7 vjeçare deri në 1974 ka pasur atë periudhën kur ka pasur një regjim të juntës ushtarake dhe vetëm pas 1974 do të rivendosi dhe njëherë demokracia në Greqi. Pikërisht kjo periudhë grekët njihen për vendosjen e emrave për çdo gjë që janë interesante, njihet si periudha metapolitepsi, e cila karakterizohet dhe nga ngritja e 2 partive politike kryesore që në fakt kanë zotruar arenën politike greke për më shumë se 30 vjet, siç është PASOK, e cili është partia e qendrës së majt dhe Demokracia e Re, një parti e qendrës së djathtë. Këto 2 parti pra kanë qenë ato që kanë me anë të rotacionit kanë qeverisur vendin. Në janar të 1981-shit Greqia bëhet anëtare e Bashkimit Europian, atë kohë njohur si Komiteti Europian, dhe 20 vite më vonë Greqia do të futet dhe në eurozonë dhe do të adoptojë euron si monedhën e saj, pra duke hequr dorë nga dramia. Vetëm një vit më vonë, në 2002 do të fillojnë të shpërndahen banknotat e para të euros për shtetin helen. Ndërkohë, gjatë gjithë kësaj periudhe pra që Greqia bëhet pjesë e Bashkimit Europian, por edhe deri në fillimin e krizës financiare në vitin 2008, Greqia ka pasur disa tregues pozitiv ekonomik. Nga njëra anë shikojmë pra që tregu ishte mjaft i qëndrueshëm, ndërkohë kemi një qarkullim të shumt të paras, ndërkohë pati një rritje të konsiderueshme të ekonomisë, madje ndonjëherë më e lartë se mesatarja e vetë eurozonës apo dhe disa prej vendeve të Bashkimit Europian, dhe besoj gjithë mbajmë mend që në 2004 Greqia ishte edhe vendi që mirëpriti lojrat olimpike, që u cilësua si një arritje shumë e madhe dhe rikthimi pra i lojrave olimpike aty ku kishin filluar për herë të parë. Por, pavarësisht këtyre drekuesve pozitiv që tregonin një rritje dhe zhvillim ekonomik të Greqisë, në fakt, problematikat kishin filluar që në vitet 80 dhe pse jo të bëra publike, të cilat vetëm në vitet 2008 pra kur fillon kriza financiare botërore, si shpreh autori, nuk është se kriza i shkaktoi këto problematika, ajo thjesht i vuri në duke pra dhe i nxori në palë dhe problematikat akumuluara të Greqisë. Një problematikë e Greqisë është që është një vend që më shumë konsumon se sa prodhon, sidomos konsumi për arsye konsumi përdore çmire dhe gjithmonë një borxh i jashtëm. Besoj gjithë kemi atë njohurinë që thembra e arkidit të krizës greke ishte pikërisht administrata publike dhe shpenzimet e shumta publike, që nga vitet 80 pra Greqia merrte çdo vit një borxh të jashtëm pikërisht për të mundësuar financimin e pagave të administratës, pensioneve dhe asistencës sociale. Kjo të gjitha më pas pra kanalizoheshin në konsum, pasi parat përdoreshin pikërisht për pagat. Kjo bën nga ana tjetër që për çdo vit Greqisë të rritej një deficit në mënyrë konstante që në një moment të caktuar nuk do të kishte më mundësi që ta menaxhonte. Ndërkohë, këto problematika vendosen në problematika të tjera, siç ishte keq administrimi i financave publike, nga ana tjetër kemi një sektor publik mjaft të fryrë, por nga ana tjetër ky sektor publik ka një performancë të ulët, një element që mbase e shohin në realitetin tonë, klientelizmi dhe nepotizmi tashmë ishin bërë dy kryefjalë për vjetën e politikës greke, tashmë vendi në administratë publike përkthehej në dhënien e votës për partinë që të premtonte punësim, pasi puna në administratën publike shikoi që ishte një punë që jepte siguri dhe të jepte në fakt një pagë mbi mesataren e pagës greke. Kështu pra kjo çonte në një fryrje burokratike as pak funksionale. Ndërkohë, nisma që merrte shteti grek ishin çështje që përfshireshin vetëm nga shteti grek, nuk përfshikta aktorët e tjerë siç ishte sektori privat apo edhe partnerët socialë, siç mund të ishin sindikatat që normalisht do duhet të ushtronin një presion dhe të ishin një grup interesi në ndërmarrjen e politikave ekonomike. Kjo nga ana tjetër, një element tjetër që edhe është diskutuar shumë është që niveli real i deficitit fiskal nuk ishte bërë asnjëherë i ditur deri në vitin 2009, pra sa ishte ai me vërtet. Gjithmonë kishte pasur një fshehje të këtij deficiti. Në momentin që u bë real, pra u tregua me vërtet sa ishte ky deficit fiskal, shteti grek u humbi besueshmëria, si brenda tij ashtu edhe në partnerë ndërkombëtar apo në tregjet ndërkombëtare. Ndërkohë, me fillimin e krizës, kemi disa problematika që dalin, pra siç ishte shpenzimi i madh për organizimin e lojrave olimpike, nga ana tjetër autoritetet nuk po bënin përpjekjet e duhura për ta menaxhuar gjithë situatën, pra për të menaxhuar bazonin e lartë të taksave apo fillonin të luftonin korrupsionin, edhe futja në eurozonë, dhe pse u cilësua si sukses, në fakt solli nuk ishte bërë e menduar mirë, duke bërë që Greqia mbase nuk ishte gati për të futur në eurozonë, dhe ndërkohë shpenzimet publike ishin të mase të larta për te kapaciteteve që kishte shteti grek. Të gjitha këto sollën ato pjesimin në vitin 2008. Kush ishin aktorët që ndikuan apo ato faktorë që ndikuan pikërisht në pjesimin e krizës së buxhetit në Greqi? E para cilësohet qeveria. Qeveria dhe pse i mori sinjalet, nuk reagoi në fakt ashtu siç duhet të reagonte për të mundësuar marrjen e masave për ta menaxhuar apo për ta zbutur krizën dhe rrezikun nga kolapsi. E dyta, dy industritë kryesore greke janë transporti detar dhe turizmi, të cilat u prekën në masë të madhe nga rrënja ekonomike. Pra kjo lidhet me faktin që Greqia nuk ishte pra një vend prodhues, por më shumë një vend që konsumonte. Së treti është fakti që edhe sistemi administrativ, pra administrata publike nuk ishte e gatshme, nuk ishte kapacitetet për të kuptuar çështjet problematike ekonomike dhe për të përballuar ato. Së katërti është që forcat politike ishin hezituese, duke qenë që edhe media luajti një rol të rëndësishëm pasi nuk e prezantoi krizën ashtu siç ishte, por e zbuti atë dhe bëri që opinioni publik grek të mos e kuptonte realisht problematikën e madhe. Kjo bënte që forcat politike në fushatat zgjedhore të ndryshme të premtonin ato që do dëshironin qytetarët të dëgjonin, pra që nuk do të ketë masa shtrënguese apo nuk do të ketë masa të rënda për qytetarët, çka nga ana tjetër nuk kuptonte që nuk po merreshin masat e dukura për menaxhimin e krizës greke. Siç e përmenda pra, këta ishin edhe aktorët kryesorë. Kemi qeveri nga njëra anë, siç e thash për një rotacion, një herë ishte pasove, një herë demokracia e re në krye të qeverisë. Ajo që u pa është që premtonin gjatë fushatës që nuk do I merrnin masa shtrënguese, për momentin që vinë në qeveri e shikonin që ishin të detyruara që t'i pranonin ato, siç ishte edhe rasti I Sirizës, që gjatë kohës që ishte në opozit, I kundërshtonte dhe premtonte, madje ishte një veprim dhe I cilësuar dhe nga autori si veprim populist, që neve nuk do I pranojmë masat shtrënguese të vendosura nga trojka, por në fund u detyrua dhe ai pas një negociate 6-muajore pa sukses për t'i pranuar ato. Ndërkohë, hezitimi I aktorëve politikë, pra I qeverisë për të mundësuar reformat strukturore të vendit bën që edhe menaxhimi I krizës të mos bëhej I plot, që çoi pastaj në zgjatjen e kësaj krize. Një aktor tjetër kryesor është shoqëria greke, normalisht solli si viktima kryesore më e madhe e kësaj krize, pasi ishin ata qytetarë, sidomos klasa e mesme, e cila pati dhe një turrje të saj, e cila u prek më shumë nga kjo krizë, ku ndryshoi dhe mënyra e jetesës. Nga ana tjetër, Greqia një vend që ka qenë gjithmonë pro-europian, qytetarët tashmë fillojnë të kenë një lloj dyshimi tek Bashkimi Europian, të mendojnë që po ndeshkojnë padrejtisht, një lloj mërie mbahet sidomos ndaj Gjermanisë dhe pa shohin dhe një rritje të mbështetjes së populizmit, ku dhe partitë ndryshme populiste fillojnë tashmë dhe të fuqizohen. Një aktor I katërt kryesor është dhe komuniteti ndërkombëtar apo ajo që njihet dhe si trojka. Trojka përbohet nga Komisioni Europian I Bashkimit Europian, nga Banka Qendrore Europiane dhe nga Fondi Monetar ndërkombëtar. Pra këto tre aktor ndërkombëtar ishin ata që u panë si e vetme barkë e shpëtimit për ekonominë greke. Me anë të vendosjes së programit për shpëtimin e Greqisë dhe ekonomisë greke, ata ofruan ndër vite të ndryshme, pra në mënyrë periodike, ato që njihen si paketat e shpëtimit për ekonominë greke. Por këto paketa shpëtimi normalisht që vinin me kushte të mëdha, sidomos në lidhje me reformimin dhe vendosjen e masave shtrënguese. Gjithsesi, përsëri, edhe pse cilësohen pra që ata e ndihmuan ekonominë greke, është parë nga ana tjetër që në një analizë të ftohtë që mund të bëhet, vjet re që ata kanë bërë letimi dhe disa gabime. Pasi u vure pra që fokusi I tyre kryesor tashmë ishte thjesht tek dhënia e parave, që normalisht ishte dhënia në mënyrë kredie, në formë kredie për Greqinë, për ta shpëtuar nga kriza, por nuk vendos fokusin tek ajo që mbase ishte vërtet e rëndësishme për ekonominë greke, reformimi në mënyrë të thellë dhe strukturor për të gjithë mënyrës se si Greqia funksiononte si ekonomikisht dhe politikisht. Nga ana tjetër dhe brenda Bashkimit Europian apo dhe brenda eurozonës, nga frika që kriza në Greqi mund të sillte një efekt domino ashtu siç edhe solli, disa vende nuk kërkonin që ta mbështesnin Greqinë, madje kërkonin një Brexit, pra një dalje të Greqisë nga eurozona ashtu dhe nga BE-ja, ndërkohë vende të tjera, siç ishte rasti I Slovenisë, nuk morën pjesë në dhënien e ndihmës financiare për Greqinë. Të njëjtën veprim do ta bëjë Irlanda dhe Portugalia, por normalisht me justifikimin që ne jemi vetë vende që po kërkojmë asistencë, kështu që nuk jemi se si t'japim për Greqinë. Kjo ishte I rasa më shkurt që t'ishte mundur, besoj që ishte koncize dhe qartë. Normalisht, duke diskutuar më pas edhe për pjesën tjetër të punimit në javën, në ditët në vazhdim, besoj do të bëhet më e plot gjithë punimi që kolegu nga Greqia ka realizuar, normalisht që besoj dhe do të krijohet një pamje më e qartë, detajle më e qartë e gjithë situatës së krizës së projektit grek. Ju falenderoj.
Atëherë faleminderit Nirvana. Do vazhdojmë me pjesën e fundit, do prezantojmë nga studimi 2 nga pyetjet që kemi zgjedhur të radhës për të lidhur edhe me temën e sotme është Anita nga Akademia e Integrimit Europian me negociatave, e cila do të bëj prezantimin, po ashtu si dhe herën e kaluar.
Përshëndetje. Po nisim me njerë me share screen, duke ndarë me ju edhe pjesën e pyetjeve të shfaqura në mënyrë vizuale. Ajo që doja të përmendja pikë pari është që pjesë e studimit unë do të ripërmend në vazhdim pjesën demografike përveç kur është nevojshme për të specifikuar sërish, domethënë, por do merrem vetëm me gjetjet. Ajo që dua të përmend në këtë pjesë është që pjesë e studimit ton kanë qenë 54% të intervistuarve kanë qenë pikërisht të rinj në moshën 35 vjeç. Atëherë, unë po e nis me pyetjen e parë, e cila është edhe pyetja lidhur me aspektet që afrojnë aktualisht Shqipërinë me BE-n. Kjo është një pyetje e strukturuar, pra përgjigjet janë alternativat kanë qenë të dhëna dhe nisim që të shohim. Kategoritë e përgjigjeve i kemi në një mas të madh, disi, shumë pak dhe as pak. Pjesa dërmuese të intervistuarve kanë rënë dakord është pikërisht tek aspekti i parë, aspekti gjeografik. Të intervistuarit tanë në 99% të përgjigjeve të tyre janë shprehur se gjeografia e afron në një mas të madhe ose disi vendin ton me Europën. Ndërkohë, duke vazhduar më poshtë në renditje pas gjeografisë, kemi sportet dhe vlerat. Këto janë dy kategori të tjera që poshtu kanë marrë një përqindje goxha dërmuese, do thoshim, sa i përket afërsisë që këto si vlera kanë si aspekte, kanë me sjelljen e vendit ton bashkë me Europën. Ndërkohë historia, shohim që historia dhe kultura nisin dhe shifrat janë gjithmonë më në zbritje, ku kemi dhe shfaqjen e shifrave që këto si aspekte afrojnë ose shumë pak ose as pak vendin ton me Europën. Ndërkohë, përmbysja ndodh tek solidariteti me rajonet më të varfra. Këtu shohim që në pjesën dërmuese, kërkojnë ndjes, në pjesën 51% e të intervistuarve shprehen që solidariteti me rajonet të varfra si aspekt e afron shumë pak ose as pak vendin ton me Europën. Dhe më pas duke vijuar me tre aspektet të tjera që janë ekonomia, shteti mbështetjen sociale dhe shteti së drejtës, ku afërsia e vendit ton me vendet europiane zbret akoma dhe më shumë. Duke lënë si pjesë dërmuese pra që ne në këto aspekte kemi shumë pak ose as pak ngjashmëri me vendet europiane. Ndërkohë, nëse flasim për BE-n, çfarë ju vjen pari në mend? Kjo ka qenë një nga pyetjet gjysmë strukturuara që të intervistuarit ton tani janë përgjigjur. Do të shohim edhe për paraqitjen grafike të përgjigjeve që kemi marrë dhe siç edhe dallohet qartë, liria e të udhëtuarit është aspekti kryesor që ka marrë përgjigjet pjesën dërmuese të përgjigjeve si aspekti kryesor që vjen ndërmend në momentin që ne flasim për Europën. E ndjekur kjo nga euro dhe nga siguria. Ndërkohë, aspektet e tjera që pasojnë tre aspektet kryesore, pra aspektet që më shumë vinë të parat në mendje në momentin që ne përmendim Europën janë paqja, që shkon barazlefshëm me burokracinë, shpërdorimi i fondeve që e ndjek me 4 përgjigje, në fakt që është një shifër goxha e ulët do thoshim, dhe në fund solidariteti dhe punësimi. Pra, nëse shohim paraqitjen grafike, jepet qartë që gjëja e parë që ne na vjen në mendje, për mos kaluar në ripërsëritje, është liria e udhëtuarit dhe euro. Dhe me këto, unë po e mbyll edhe prezantimin për këtë pjesë të gjetjeve, duke e kaluar fjalën Gledisit edhe duke pritur seancën tjetër të gjetjeve.
Atëherë, faleminderit, Anita. Kemi arritur në fundin e sesionit të sotshëm të webinarit. Sigurisht u zgjat pak më tepër, kjo edhe për shkak të interesit dhe diskutimeve, cilat ishin gjithashtu interesante dhe nxorën pa element të cilët nuk ishin trajtuar gjatë prezantimit. Gjithsesi do të kemi mundësi dhe në ditët në vijim ti trajtojmë, po ashtu dhe ti trajtojmë dhe pyetje folësve kryesor, të cilët e mirëpresin çfarë do lloj kontributi apo interesi që ju do keni. Ju falenderoj për pavarësisht se shkuam përtej orarit, dhe ju mirëpresim në takimin e ardhshëm të njëjtën në të njëjtën orë me të njëjtën link dhe gjithashtu dhe password që do t'ja ritheksoj, do jetë i njëjti për gjithë serinë e webinareve, pavarësisht se ne çdo javë do ju dërgojmë për t'u regjistruar, për të konfirmuar interesin tuaj sipas tematikave që do vijojnë. Ju falenderoj edhe një herë, ju uroj një vazhdim dite të këndshëm. Mirupafshim.